has always been your home. Rest your eyes, flowing tides, that's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby tonight. Rest your eyes, flowing tides, that's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby tonight. Feel the spirit that moves the deep. Feel the power of the wind and sea. And know that this has always been your home. Rest your eyes, flowing tides, that's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby tonight. Foot-worn path of centuries stand before the ocean breeze. Great Mother holds you to her heart. Sister Moon will fill the dark again. Lift your eyes to eternity. Rest your head against a tree. Listen to the breaking waves. It's time to learn our mother's ways again. Feel the spirit that moves the deep. Feel the power of the wind and sea. And know that this has always been your home. Rest your eyes, flowing tides, moves the deep. Feel the power of the wind and sea, and know that this has always been your home. Rest your eyes, flowing tides. That's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby tonight. Foot-worn path of centuries stand before the ocean breeze. Great Mother holds you to her heart. Sister Moon will fill the dark again. Lift your eyes to eternity. Rest your head against a tree. Listen to the breaking waves. It's time to learn our mother's ways again. Feel the spirit that moves the deep. Feel the power of the wind and sea, and know that this has always been your home. Rest your eyes, flowing tides. That's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby tonight. Rest your eyes, flowing tides. That's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby tonight. Feel the spirit that moves the deep. Feel the power of the wind and sea, and know that this has always been your home. Rest your eyes, flowing tides. That's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby tonight. before the ocean breeze. Great Mother holds you to her heart. Sister Moon will fill the dark again. Lift your eyes to eternity. Rest your head against a tree. Listen to the breaking waves. It's time to learn our mother's ways again. Feel the spirit that moves the deep. Feel the power of the wind and sea. And know that this has always been your home. Rest your eyes, flowing tides. That's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby tonight. Rest your eyes, flowing tides. That's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby. That's our mother's lullaby tonight. Feel the spirit that moves the deep. Feel the power of the wind and sea. And know that this has always been your home.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Columbia. Our minister is the Reverend Stephen Robinson. My name is Kate Heald, and I am your service leader of the day. To those of you here with us in the sanctuary, please be advised that this service is being streamed on YouTube. And on the website, there is a link to a Zoom event. We would still, of course, rather have you here with us in person. Please make sure you read the announcements in your printed order of service. Also be sure to read the weekly events that are emailed to you each Thursday. And also you can visit the website. I urge you to keep the website open as a tab on your internet browser so that you can keep up with the many things that are happening. Here's an announcement for parents. We especially welcome families and young children. Today, children and youth are invited to bring the toys and books found at the back of the social hall to their seats while they stay in service with their parents. Here's some good news. We have enough volunteers to offer childcare for infants and children to age 5 all summer long. Thank you, volunteers. For childcare to continue, however, we will need more volunteers going into the fall. Paid positions are also available. To be a volunteer, please see Bethany Sterlazzi or Jonathan White. We didn't have anyone volunteer to bring flowers today, but please enjoy the lovely planter that decorates our pulpit. And now, please silence all of your electronic devices as we center ourselves for today's service and listen to the prelude.
Thank you, Kate. We're very pleased and honored to have with us today Andrew Strebkoff. He's going to do a Bach piece from Bach's works catalog, number 1060, Concerto in C minor, the first movement. And he's playing it on a rather unusual instrument. This is a soprano sax. Andrew?
Thank you, Andrew. That was wonderful. Please stand and join me in the congregational covenant as found in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve others in community. Thus do we covenant with one another. Please be seated. Unitarian Universalism is a diverse and non-creedal religion. We are a covenantal religion, which means that we don't have to believe the same in order to treat each other the same, with respect, equity, compassion, and dignity. Our community is based on deeds, not creeds. As Unitarian Universalists, we side with love, embracing all people regardless of age, color, race, socioeconomic status, physical ability, or religious background. We have been officially designated by the Unitarian Universalist Association, a lot to say a Sunday morning, a welcoming congregation that welcomes LGBTQ plus individuals. Now let's recognize our Board of Trustees. Board members, please stand. Oh, good. They just had a retreat. And committee chairs, please stand and join them. All right. So thank you. Board members wear green name tags, and they always welcome your questions and comments, as do our committee chairs. At this time, we would like to recognize any guests or visitors who are with us today. So visitors, if you are willing and able, please rise and share with us your name and where you are from. Or if you have guests with you, please feel to introduce them. Please wait for the microphone.
Hi, my name is Deb O'Connor, most recently from Vermont. My husband and I close on a home here on Thursday, and we can't wait to join you.
Welcome.
Hello, I'm Robert Cohn. This is my spouse, Jason Clark, and our boys, Ethan and Adrian.
Okay.
This is our second Sunday here, and we're happy to be back and joining service today.
Well, thank you, and we're glad you're back too.
Check, check. My name's Patty. Long Polish last name, so we'll save that. Syborowski. And I'm new in town and just really happy to be here today.
Thank you. Welcome, Patty.
Hey, my name's Apoorva Parikh, and I'm here with my wife. She just went in the back. Poonam Tharpara and our newborn son, 5.5 months. And we live in West Columbia. We've been here for like 5 years and just trying to find community. So, yeah.
Oh, welcome. Anyone else? No. All right. Visitors, you certainly don't have to, but we'd love to have you fill out a visitor card and put it in the collection plate. You'll find one in the back of a chair in front of you. That way we can send you our emails and newsletters. We will respect your privacy. No random visits. We encourage everyone to wear a name tag so we can get to know each other better. At this time, please take a moment to greet each other. Turn to those around you and offer a pleasant greeting with a handshake or fist bump and a big smile. If I could have your attention, please. If everyone could take a seat. If everyone could take a seat. Okay. Okay. Are we ready to keep going here? Today's chalice lighter is Reverend Stephen Robinson.
All right. Today our words for our chalice lighting come from Dorothea Kaufmann, a German Unitarian Universalist minister. And her words were a global chalice lighting from several years ago. But as we use those, I believe we're on virtual service then on Zoom service, which feels like forever ago when we used them, but I thought it was so appropriate and wanted to share them again today. From the bottom of my very existence, I am pervaded with light energy, shining colors to my eyes, warmth to my skin, inspiration to my soul. In this unity of creative sparks and sparkling creation, life unfolds. So let us open our senses to the light within and around us and send it out as shining examples to the rest of the world. Spirit of light and life, come unto us. The professional.
Okay, so after this morning's entertainment, it's time to sing the opening hymn. So if you will open your teal hymnals, it's the smaller one, you should have all there, to number 1026, If Every Woman in the World, and please stand while we sing. This piece goes along with the theme today, but we're only going to sing the first verse, but we're going to sing it twice. Sing it through twice, and Andrew's going to even accompany us.
Set on freedom, if every woman in the world dreamed a sweet dream of peace, if every woman of every nation, young and old, each generation, held her hand out in the name of love, there would be no more war. If every woman mind set on freedom, if every woman in the world dreamed a sweet dream of peace, if every woman of every nation, young and old, each generation, held her hands out in the name of love, there would be no more war.
Thank you. Be seated.
Our opening words today come from the Christian scripture from Luke chapter 1. In the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent by God to a town in Galilee called Nazareth, to a virgin engaged to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David. The virgin's name was Mary. And he came to her and said, "Greetings, favored one, the Lord is with you." But she was much perplexed by his words and pondered what sort of greeting this might be. And the angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. And now you will conceive in your womb and bear a son, and you will name him Jesus. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High, and the Lord God will give to him the throne of his ancestor David. He will reign over the house of Jacob forever, and of his kingdom there will be no end." Mary said to the angel, "How can this be, since I am a virgin?" And the angel said said to her, "The Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the Most High will overshadow you. Therefore, the child to be born will be holy, and he will be called the Son of God." And then another account of the same story from a different perspective from Matthew 1. The birth of Jesus the Messiah took place in this way when his mother Mary had been engaged to Joseph, but before they lived together, she was found to be pregnant from the Holy Spirit. Her husband Joseph, being a righteous man and unwilling to expose her to public disgrace, planned to divorce her quietly. But just when he had resolved to do this, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, "Joseph, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife, for the child conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit." This time we move to our children's story, our story for all ages. And so it truly is a story for all ages today, because I don't want to just introduce the children and youth to it, but all of our adults to a very important character in human history. So any of our young folks that would like to come down, please join me down front. And before I go down, just so that you can see who this great saint of history is, we're going to introduce you to Feminist Baby today. Feminist Baby was canonized a long time ago. Good morning. I want to introduce you to somebody named Feminist Baby. All right, you're going to do the pages. All right. So, Feminist Baby loves to dance. That's right. And Feminist Baby says no to pants. It's important to know that. Feminist Baby likes pink and blue, and sometimes she'll throw up on you. Feminist Baby chooses what to wear. And if you don't like it, guess what? She doesn't care. That's right. Feminist Baby makes lots of noise. Can y'all do that? Ah! All right. Feminist Baby throws her toys. We don't necessarily condone that or condemn it. Feminist Baby plays with dolls and cars. And when she sings, she's a baby rock star. Feminist Baby is as smart as she seems. Feminist Baby can be whatever she dreams. So as we are celebrating today, a person in history, as we just read the story of Mary from the Christian tradition, I thought Feminist Baby would be a good follow-up to that as well. All right, so thank you. I appreciate you letting me introduce you all to Feminist Baby this morning, and thank you for coming down.
This piece that Glenn's going to do this morning, "You Raise Me Up," it was popular a number of years ago, and it still is. It's a beautiful piece. But when it talks about "You Raise Me Up," the lyrics are rather nonspecific as to who they're talking about that raises them up. So in the spirit of today's topic, we're going to say that the women in your life are the ones who raise us up.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. There is no life without its hunger. Each restless heart beats so imperfectly. But when you come and I am filled with wonder, sometimes I think I glimpse eternity. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be.
Thank you, Glenn. Feminist Baby approves of the song. It was beautiful. And thank you, Andrew, for beautiful music provided as well, and Richard for organizing all of that. At this time, we create a space in our service for Candles of Community, an opportunity for you to share your joys or your concerns in this place and be embraced by this community by sharing it, and be able to voice it out loud and know that you don't carry that burden or even that joy alone. People here will celebrate you with you and grieve with you. And just to be reminded of that, we have a caring committee as well that attends to the needs of our congregation and our community. Starting next week, they're going to be wearing yellow name tags so that you can find them during our service and know that one of them can be very helpful in reaching out and meeting those needs. It is a very active and strong community, and I appreciate the work that they do. This time I invite you, if you have a candle, to come and briefly share your joy and concern and light it here.
I would like to share a joy. I would like to share a joy of life, of peace, and a lot of different people in this world that have tried to help this community and try to serve for our nation and try to protect us and a lot of different things, because this community needs to try to be the best people they can be, because I know they have at least a little bit of some happiness in their life, some joy, some peacefulness, and a lot of different other things. And that's what I would like to share. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Gillespie, and excuse me. Today I'm sharing a candle of community for two friends. One you probably don't know, one you all know very well. My friend Gordon, I've known for 30 or 40 years, play golf together, hang out together. He's a good fella. And a couple of years ago, when he started joining us for golf, JP Flood and Gordon became very close friends. Recently, Gordon was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. JP, of course, is in Montana now. Excuse me. Has been keeping tabs on him, via phone calls, texts, emails, that sort of thing. This past weekend, I and JP and others just found out that Gordon has gone into hospice care at home. I know JP is hurting real badly, so keep both of them in your prayers and thoughts if you would. Thank you.
I'm Jenny Verne. I'm lighting a candle, not of concern, but I don't want to say it's a candle of joy, because our friends Jenny and John are leaving this week to go back to England, and we're going to miss them. I guess the joy is the fact that they are still able to travel, even they're both over 39 years old, but don't let anybody. But they've been with us 3 months, they'll be gone 3 months, and then they'll be back again and be joining us in our congregation. Love you guys.
This is a candle of concern. I have good friends in Maui with Carl Kim, who works with the National Disaster Preparedness Training Center at the University of Hawaii, and I know they're all grieving, and just keeping them in our thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
And the last candle that we light are for those silent joys and concerns that you are holding this morning. Please join me in just a few seconds of silence and a few deep breaths to remember all that you've heard, the joys that you want to celebrate, and the pain that you heard as well that you want to connect with. Thank you. Just a reminder today that our Share the Plate recipient is the Palmetto Place Children and Youth Services Organization, and we will have a representative back at the end of the month to share a little bit about their great work. This time I invite our ushers to come and receive our morning offering.
This piece I'm going to play for offertory this morning was written by Clara Schumann, very famous woman throughout classical composing history. She was the wife of Robert Schumann, and she wrote lots of pieces.
We receive our offering today, a symbol of our commitment to the good work. Thank you, Richard. And if you haven't had a chance to get to know Jenny and John before they leave back for England, please take some time to do this today. This has been a organized partnership with the country of England, where they send people to the months of June, July, and August in Columbia, South Carolina, and they're able to absorb enough warmth to get them through the entire winter. So you're welcome. Many of you probably know that throughout the month of July, we have a special time of focusing on different voices of the UUCC, where we invite different people to speak and share sermons, share messages, share topics. So it's been quite a while since I've been in the pulpit to share a sermon. I've been here helping with different services, but as far as helping to lead a service and prepare a sermon, it's been quite a while. So I'm imagining that some of you are a little worried, seeing that I forgot how to light the chalice. And then I read from the Gospel of Luke and Matthew. And not only that, but it was the Christmas story. So some of you, I see the looks on your faces, and I get that same look from my teenage kids. So is something wrong with Dad? That's what they're thinking. Our reason for sharing that today is on Tuesday, August 15th, Catholic Christians around the world will celebrate the Feast of the Assumption. It is a celebration of Mary, the mother of Jesus, and the time that her sacred body ascended up to heaven or to God at the end of her life. It really began in the 3rd and 4th centuries with apocryphal writings that described the Assumption of Mary, none of them really outlining dogmatic beliefs around it. But in the 4th century, the bishop of Epiphanius wrote about it and varying philosophies concerning Mary's death and her passing on and what happened to her body after she died. And by the 8th century, another text was introduced that became so generally accepted that John of Damascus was able to establish a storyline back to the beginning with the church as the official story from that point forward. And in the 8th century, Pope Sergius I encouraged celebrations for the Feast of the Assumption, and then Pope Leo IV confirmed it then as an official feast holiday. Why am I sharing that with us? Well, that's coming up on Tuesday. So how do we recognize that and recognize the story and how it fits into Unitarian Universalism and our perspective here at the UUCC? I went through several sermon titles thinking about what to say today. I wrote The Assumption of a Yes, a UU's take on the virgin birth, and I thought that might take everyone, make them take a Sunday off, or make them all show up and wonder what's going on. I thought about the assumption of a yes, how the UUCC understands women in history, and that felt daunting, so I wasn't going to tackle that. So I did what any smart minister does. I just deleted everything past the colon and left it as the assumption of a yes. But really to look at the story that unfolds in Luke chapter 1 and Matthew chapter 1. I don't know about you, but I grew up listening to these stories, particularly on Christmas Eve as they were read. And at this point, I don't even know that I pay a whole lot of attention to what's actually happening in the story. But I heard you as I read them today, and I tried not to emphasize things, but it's just hard not to when you're reading these stories. How is this going to happen? Oh, I'm going to impregnate you. Oh, okay. Well, thanks, I think. Matthew's gospel to John's perspective, your wife, I know you want to keep her from being disgraced, so you're going to divorce her quietly. You don't have to do that, because the child's mine. Oh. And I've started reading these through the different lenses, and one of the things that I realize in studying lots of different mythologies and religions is this is a very common narrative in religious narratives, that a deity pursues a mortal female, gets her pregnant, and gives birth to another deity, a demigod, or a significant mythological character. In Greek and Roman mythologies, which were the most predominant stories of the time period and the geography and the culture of Mary, usually there was a shape-shifting involved, assuming the body of another person or some kind of animal. And in Greek mythology alone, there are 15 stories that involve Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, and Dionysus pursuing a mortal female, and that female then becoming pregnant. Some examples like Europa, the daughter of the king of Phoenicia, Zeus became a white bull and pursued her. And I'm trying to avoid using the word rape, but that's exactly the best way to describe it. Callisto, Zeus assumed the form of actually Apollo to pursue her. And after she became pregnant, he turned her into a bear to hide her. So, see some correlations to Matthew's gospel? I could divorce her privately, or I could turn her into a bear. But Hera became jealous and told Artemis, who she was a follower of and a part of the cult of Artemis, that she was just a wild beast that was threatening all of the cult, the rest of his followers, and so Artemis killed her. And other stories say that Artemis realized that she was no longer a virgin, and that's why he killed her. I'm not making these stories up. You can read them in Greek mythology, and Don can translate them into other languages for you. Or read them in the original Greek too. The birth of the greatest hero, Hercules, involves Zeus taking on the form of King Amphitryon, and spending 3 days with his wife, Alcmene. The result being Hercules. After spending 3 days with his wife, pretending to be her husband, Hercules was born. Now, I've watched the Disney version of Hercules. My daughter would probably say 1,000 times with her. I don't remember that happening in the story, but it's there. Theophane was taken by Poseidon to a remote island where Poseidon turned himself into a ram and her into a lamb. And then because she was so beautiful and had so many pursuers, the inhabitants of the island were turned into cattle, and then all of her suitors were turned into wolves. And so the wolves chased the cattle while Poseidon chased Theophane, and everybody stayed occupied. And from that came the lamb that had the golden fleece. So you probably know little parts of these stories, right? But sometimes we just kind of skip over how things came to be. One of the most popular stories is Leda and the Swan. Leda, who was the daughter of Theseus, was pursued by Zeus, who turned himself into a beautiful swan to attract her. And from that union, King Agamemnon and Castor were born. And also, in the form of eggs that were laid and hatched came Pollux. And then does anybody know the last person? She was beautiful and she started a war. Helen of Troy, there we go. It's not just Greek mythology. In Jewish stories, one of the most notable would be the birth of Melchizedek, whose mother was pursued by the spirit after an announcement by Gabriel, the angel. The mother, who was a virgin, was named Senophim, a sister-in-law to Noah. The baby boy Melchizedek was born from his mother who had died, and he emerged as a boy clothed and speaking. He was taken by Gabriel then to the Garden of Eden, which is why in the story he was protected from the flood that destroyed humanity. In Egypt, Horus was the sun god born of the virgin Isis by Seth, the god of chaos and storms, who killed her husband Osiris. And just to kind of make some connections here, upon the birth of Horus, a star appeared in the east, symbolizing his birth. And man, we thought that Christmas story was so unique, so strange and unique that we read it every Christmas Eve, but really it's actually a very common story in religious and cultural mythologies. From our perspective today, in the 21st century, we would characterize these stories as an assault. Regardless of whether or not there was a yes or a consent or a "here I am, Lord, let it be to me according to your word." The assumption of a yes. So we have this week, and in this week, the celebration of the sacred body of Mary being taken to heaven upon her death. Sacred because she gave birth to the Son of God. Joseph Campbell, who is a well-known expert on mythology, believes that the metaphor of the virgin birth symbolizes the move of ourselves from our animal chakras to a more enlightened human space with awareness, rationality, and morality. So this is my observation and opinion that's a little bit different than Joseph Campbell, but he assumes that identifying as human means that it implies enlightenment, awareness, rationality, and morality. I can't join him there. Just because someone identifies as human, they do not have those traits. We are surrounded by folks that are either lacking those traits or ignoring them intentionally. What I love about what Campbell says is that the virgin birth means that you are the deity that is born. Because it is a metaphor, it means that we are transformed from one state of being to a more enlightened, a more moral, a more rational, a more aware place of being. That we become those creatures on the earth. And if that is true, then we truly believe, and maybe we should add this on our order of service somewhere, but if that's truly what we believe, then there is no more enlightened, aware, rational, and moral creatures on earth than a Unitarian Universalist. That's kind of like hesitant laughter, I noticed. Like, is he really going to add that to the order of service? But based on our values as UUs, we do have to come to the conclusion that Mary's body was sacred indeed, but not because she gave birth to the Son of God. Her body was sacred because she was Mary. Her body was sacred when she was born. Her body was sacred as she learned to walk and talk as a toddler. Her body was sacred as she spent her days playing and learning as a little girl. Her body was sacred as she became aware of her gender and her sexuality. Her body was sacred as she experienced the changes that adolescence brings. Long before that visit from the messenger of God, her body was sacred. Her body was her sacred space to control and to protect and have the ultimate power and decision-making concerning anything about it. As UU Minister Darcy Baxter puts it, reproductive justice emphasizes that everything is connected and insists that people refuse to isolate or pit important social issues against each other. Instead, reproductive justice advances human rights across the interdependent web of social justice issues. Here at the UUCC, we create a space where we understand, believe, and advocate for the rights of women, especially in these most uncertain of times. We commit to teach our children and our youth that their bodies are sacred in our AL program that we are reinitiating. For women like Mary, you have the right to live free from objectification, free from assault and unwanted physical and verbal advances. You have a right to protect yourself and your body, knowing that we as a community stand alongside you. Here at the UUCC, we also have the responsibility to identify anyone who crosses those boundaries as monsters and condemn their actions, no matter who they are. Here at the UUCC, we have to affirm that our bodies are sacred and advocate that women have the ultimate right and authority over the health and well-being of their bodies, with ultimate decision-making power concerning their health care, period. Typically, I would imagine that August 15th comes and goes, and we don't give much thought to the Feast of the Assumption. But I invite us this week to take this Tuesday and celebrate the Assumption of Mary. Let us be loud and vocal and say that her body was sacred, not because she was a woman who gave birth to a deity, but simply because she was a woman.
Our closing hymn, we're also going to honor women here. As we come marching, we've talked about feminist baby, and now we're going to talk about feminist, maybe militant women too. So if you would open your hymnals to number 109 as we come marching, and please stand.
As we come marching in the beauty of the day, a million darkened kitchens, 1,000 workshops gray, are touched with all the radiance that evidence undiscloses. For the people hear us singing bread and roses, bread and roses. As we come marching, we battle to for men, for they are women's children, and we mother them again. Our lives shall not be sweated from birth until life closes. Hearts starve as well as bodies. Give us bread, but give us roses. As we come marching, unnumbered women dead go crying through our singing their ancient song of bread. Small touch and love and beauty, their drudging spirits new. Yes, it is bread we fight for, but we fight for roses too. As we come marching, we bring the greater days, the rising of the women means the rising of the race. No more the drudge and idler, tin oil where one reposes, but a sharing of life's glories, bread and roses, bread and roses.
I've heard many people say before that a good UU sermon and service calls us to do something as we leave this place. So I thought appropriate closing words today would be the four-pronged strategy of Sister Song, which is an advocate group for women's rights and particularly marginalized women. The four-pronged attack on these issues around women's rights and social justice are to analyze power systems and the politics they produce, to address the intersection oppressions and look for commonalities upon all those who are oppressed. Center the most marginalized and grant legal rights, but also not just the right, but access to the care, whether the right is there or not. and then join together across issues and identities, recognizing that all oppressions and injustices affect us all. Please join us in our benediction. I'd like to thank everyone for being here for a part of the service today. If you were visiting with us, and especially if it was the first time visiting, but even if it's second or third, we invite you to stick around, have some opportunity for us to get to know you and for you to get to know us. And we know if we do that, I know you will like us. And we hope that we will like you too, so that's the way it will work. For those who are interested in taking Feminist Baby home to read for bedtime, you'll have to take that up with Luna. That's her book, so she probably is not going to let that happen. But especially for after our service and after we have a little social time, we do have a congregational conversation that's set up in the back, so we will be organizing for that. But do take some time. Yeah, do take some time before we do that and spend some socializing time and getting to know each other and spending some time together. Thank you all for being here.
And as you march out, we're going to play a postlude when the saints go marching out, and we're referring to our women saints.